5 golden boundaries you absolutely must set with your adult children before it is too late. Welcome back to Elderly Heart Talks. As parents, our instinct to protect, nurture, and provide for our children never truly goes away. It does not matter if they are 5 years old or 50 in our eyes. They are always our children. Because of this deep, unconditional love, many of us in our golden years find ourselves completely exhausted. We continue to pour our time, our dwindling energy, and our hard-earned savings into our adult children and our grandchildren, completely forgetting that our own cups are running empty. We tell ourselves, this is just what parents do. But here is the hard, honest truth: continuously sacrificing your own peace, health, and financial security is not a requirement of love. It is a recipe for silent burnout. Today, I want to share with you 5 golden boundaries you absolutely must set with your adult children. Setting boundaries does not mean you love them less. It simply means you are finally choosing to respect yourself enough to protect the beautiful, peaceful retirement you have earned. Let us look at the very first boundary you need to establish. Let us look at the first boundary you must establish. Boundary number 1. The bank of mom and dad must close. Protecting your financial security is absolutely critical at this stage of your life. It is completely natural to want to step in and help your children when they hit a financial bump in the road. As parents, we never want to see our kids struggle. But there is a massive, dangerous difference between helping them survive a sudden, one-time emergency and becoming their permanent financial safety net. Right now, across the world, many older adults are quietly draining their hard-earned retirement savings. They are taking out loans, or worse, sacrificing their own essential medical needs just to fund their adult children's expensive lifestyle choices, risky business ventures, or endless debts. You might truly believe you are doing a good thing. You might think you are simply helping them out of love. But in reality, you are putting your own future in profound danger. You must remember a simple mathematical fact. You are now living on a fixed income. Unlike your children, you have very limited time and physical energy left to rebuild any wealth that you lose today. If your bank account runs dry, you cannot simply go back to working 50 hours a week to make it all back. So, what should you do instead? You must be brave enough to close the bank. You need to have a calm, honest, and firm conversation with them. It is perfectly fine to look at your adult child and say, "I love you deeply, but I can no longer support you financially. I need to keep my savings secure so I can pay for my own care as I age. The best way I can help you right now is to make sure I never become a financial burden to you in the future." Giving your children the push they need to finally stand on their own 2 feet is not a punishment. It is one of the greatest, most responsible gifts you can offer them, and it fiercely protects the peaceful retirement you absolutely deserve. Let us move on to boundary number 2, escaping the babysitter on demand trap and reclaiming your time. Becoming a grandparent is undeniably one of life's most exquisite joys. Holding your grandchildren, spoiling them, and watching them grow is pure magic. It is a beautiful reward for all your years of hard work. However, a very quiet and dangerous shift often happens. Many grandparents slowly find themselves trapped in the exhausting role of an unpaid, full-time nanny. Your adult children might start dropping the grandkids off entirely unannounced. Or they might simply assume that you will eagerly cancel your own personal plans because, in their minds, you are retired and you have free time anyway. They completely forget that your free time belongs to you and to no one else. Let us be completely honest about the physical reality of this situation. Taking care of young, energetic children requires an enormous amount of physical and mental stamina. It requires you to be constantly alert, constantly moving, and constantly giving. That is precious stamina that you desperately need to preserve for your own aging body, your own peaceful routines, and your own overall well-being. What you must do instead is firmly establish clear rules about babysitting. You have to reclaim your daily schedule. It is entirely okay and completely necessary to look at your adult children and say, "I am so excited to see the kids on Saturday, but I simply cannot watch them every single weekday." Or, "Please call me a few days in advance to see if I am actually available." You have already raised your children. You have already put in the decades of sleepless nights, chaotic mornings, and endless personal sacrifices. Now, it is your time to rest. You have earned the absolute right to pursue your own hobbies and simply be a loving, joyful grandparent, not an exhausted, full-time caregiver. Let us move on to boundary number 3, refusing to be the emotional dumping ground and fiercely protecting your emotional peace. Because you are wise, experienced, and deeply loving, your adult children naturally come to you for advice. That is a beautiful, normal part of the parent-child bond. But sometimes, and very quietly, this crosses a highly dangerous line. Your children might begin to call you every single day, not to check on how you are doing, but simply to vent. They completely unload about their demanding bosses, their complicated marital problems, or their sudden financial panics. They dump their daily anxieties onto your shoulders, and then they walk away feeling lighter, completely unaware of the heavy burden they just left behind. When you constantly absorb all of their heavy, negative emotions, it physically affects your aging body. It is not just in your mind. That secondhand stress violently spikes your blood pressure. It completely ruins your ability to fall into a deep sleep at night, and it leaves you feeling entirely drained and highly anxious for them during the day. You spend your precious hours worrying about problems that do not actually belong to you. The hard truth is, you cannot fix their lives for them, and carrying their heavy emotional luggage is slowly breaking your back. What you must do instead is fiercely protect your mental space. It is entirely okay, and completely necessary, to gently stop them in the middle of a conversation. You can clearly say, "I love you deeply, and I am so sorry you are going through this. But hearing all of this constant stress is becoming too heavy for me to carry right now." Encourage them to speak to a professional therapist or work through these complex issues directly with their partner. You can absolutely be a loving, supportive parent without absorbing their daily toxic stress as your own. Your peace of mind is precious, and it is not a trash can for their bad days. Let us move on to boundary number 4, guarding your physical space and treating your home as your absolute sanctuary. For decades, your home was likely the bustling, loud, and chaotic center of your entire family. You raised your children there, you hosted the holidays, and your front door was always revolving. But now, in your golden years, that specific chapter of your life has closed. Your home absolutely must become your quiet, peaceful sanctuary. The problem is, many adult children completely fail to recognize this shift. They still treat their parents' house like a free, 24-hour hotel. They show up entirely unannounced. They bring their loud, chaotic energy right into your living room, and they often leave their own messes behind for you to clean up. When this happens, you might feel a sudden wave of deep guilt for simply wanting them to leave so you can sit in the quiet. But I am telling you right now that guilt is entirely misplaced. What you must do instead is firmly set the expectation that your home is now your private, personal space. You need to ask them to call before visiting. Furthermore, you absolutely must not feel obligated to immediately jump up, cook a massive hot meal, or clean up after them every single time they drop by. You are not their maid, and your kitchen is not a restaurant. It is completely fine to look at your adult children and clearly say, "I always love having you here, but I really need my house to be quiet in the evenings. Please call me before you come over next time so I'm prepared." Your peace of mind starts the exact moment you walk through your own front door. You have earned the right to lock it, and you have the right to fiercely protect the peace inside. Let us move to our final point today. Boundary number 5, asserting your own autonomy and putting a stop to unsolicited advice. As we age, a very strange and uncomfortable role reversal often begins to happen within the family. Your adult children suddenly begin to act as if they are the parents, and you are the child. Out of what they believe is a loving sense of concern, they might start dictating exactly what you should or should not eat. They might constantly question how you choose to spend your own money, or lecture you endlessly about your daily habits, your health routines, or your driving. They might truly mean well, and it usually does come from a place of love. But let us be entirely honest about how it actually feels to be on the receiving end of it. Being constantly corrected, monitored, and managed by the very people you raised can feel incredibly demeaning, exhausting, and deeply disrespectful. You must remember exactly who you are. You are a fully grown, highly capable adult who has successfully navigated decades of complex life challenges. You have survived hardships, solved massive problems, and built a life for your family. Because of that, you have absolutely earned the right to make your own daily choices. Even if those are choices that your adult children completely disagree with, you are allowed to eat the cake. You are allowed to spend your money on things that bring you joy, and you are allowed to live your life on your own terms. What you must do instead is, politely, but very firmly, remind them of exactly who is in charge of your life. You need to look them in the eye and clearly say, "I truly appreciate your deep concern for my health and my life, but I am entirely comfortable with the choices I am making for myself right now." Do not allow them to strip away your independence or treat you like a fragile child who cannot think for themselves. Stand tall in your hard-earned wisdom. Maintain your absolute autonomy and fiercely protect the personal freedom you have worked your entire life to achieve. My friends, as we bring our time together to a close today, I want you to remember one absolutely critical truth. Setting these 5 boundaries with your adult children is not an act of selfishness. It is a profound, a necessary act of self-care. Society often tells us that parents must give until it hurts, but that simply is not true. When your body is well rested, when your finances are completely secure, and when your mind is emotionally peaceful, you are actually able to be a much better parent and a far happier grandparent. You absolutely cannot pour love, energy, or support from an empty cup. You must fill your own cup first. I know this is not easy. It goes against so much of what we were taught to do, but I want you to take a deep breath, gather your quiet courage, and start having these gentle, but very firm conversations with your family. You have spent your entire life sacrificing your sleep, your money, and your own personal desires for them. You have done your job, and you did it beautifully. Now, it is time to build a beautifully peaceful, uninterrupted life for yourself. Before you go today, I would truly love to hear from you. Which of these 5 boundaries do you personally find the hardest to set with your own family? Is it closing the bank? Or perhaps stopping the unsolicited advice? Please share your thoughts and your personal stories in the comments section down below. I read every single one of them, and your honesty and your strength might be exactly what another parent desperately needs to read today. If this message resonated with your heart, please take a moment to subscribe to Elderly Heart Talks and hit the notification bell so we can continue these important conversations together. Please share this video with a friend or a fellow parent who might really need the courage to hear this message today. Thank you so much for giving me your valuable time. Take excellent care of yourself, and remember, protect your peace fiercely.